How we doing? Good to see you guys. Normally I start these with a nice little video, and since I used this last year, that option is not available unless I pay to use the subscription or the service, and I really don't want to pay to use it. So let me know what the audio and the video looks like to you, besides some old ugly guy from Alaska. I might have to shave. That's way too gray. But we should be live now. Let's see. I'm waiting to see if there's a comment over there showing that we are in fact live. And if we are, I'll go ahead and I'll see if I can't play you the video I was going to play you today to get everything started. We'll start up at the top though, and I'll say hello to everybody who jumped in here. Hopefully you guys are here. Renee, good to see you. Country boy CB, how you doing, brother? Destiny, how are you doing today? Joseph, Joe, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, my friend. Susan, awesome to see you. I hope everything's going well for you down in Washington. Charles and Annalyn, awesome to see you guys. Scrolling on down here. Michigan Daffodil, glad you could make it today. It is awesome to have you here. Audio and video are good. Awesome. Wild Mountain, good to see you. Glad you could be here today, Wild Mountain Rose. Penny Swan, PS Political News and Views. Good to see you. Glad you could be here. GT Junior grows in Alaska. Awesome to have you here today. Karen, awesome to see you today, Karen. So I guess we have audio, we have video, and I don't know how well this is going to work. Normally I don't do this until October because that's when, I have a super strong signal, and it's been kind of in and out today. So hopefully it will work. But if we lose it, I'll try and pick it up on the cell phone, and maybe I'll take you outside and show you where I'm at on the woodshed / storage / shop build. I'm pretty happy with how things are going there. The other thing is the camera's kind of in a different position. So if you see me looking up, it's because I can't read the screen down here on the laptop. And that's because I upgraded my TV from last year because I wanted to watch some football this year, and I like watching movies. So I went and got a bigger TV since power is not as much of an issue either. So let me pop this up real quick and see if I can make this work. And see if I can get this video up for you guys. Oh, it is right here. Let's see if we get this. Thank you, Shirley. Brother Matt. I don't know if you guys can hear me talking while this is going on or not. So I kind of don't want to say anything. Oh, you can hear me when I talk. Okay, good. So I just put this together because this was going to be the intro, and then when I logged into the service today, I realized unless I pay $35 something a month, I can't do the intro videos. So I found this way to do it. So maybe we'll do this from now on. David Evans, good to see you, my friend. Midnight in Scotland, so off to bed. David, have a great time. You're in God's country there. All right, let's see how I do this. Boom. And I'm back. Cool. All right. I mean, we're learning, right? So a couple of comments I had was when I put my mind to it, I can get a lot done. I'm actually quite a bit further on the project than the videos have shown you so far. I've probably 4 videos ahead of where I'm at right now. That week's vacation just got me so far ahead. It was absolutely crazy. I'm super glad that I took it when I did. There was a mention in here. First, I got to say hi to Russell. What's up, brother? It is awesome to see you, my friend. I wish Russell would do lives again, so I had a reason to start drinking again. And then I saw Karen in here too. There you are, Karen. How are you doing? It is that's Be Charming. And how are you doing, Karen? How are you doing? It is awesome to have you here today. The other comment I had was about the overhang here. Okay. Destiny said, like the overhang on the woodshed. Heard that you're going to maybe shorten it, storing cut wood under the overhang. So I left the overhang long. I did shorten it up a bit just to square everything up. That is actually going to be in next week's video. Next week's video will cover me shortening up the overhang and how I find the angle for what I'm doing there. Because originally the plan was for a 412 pitch on the roof, but that was when it was going to be 12 feet wide, and Sean didn't calculate for when it was going to be 10 feet wide. So it went from a 412 pitch to a 512 pitch. So I'll show you how I get the angle on that. And then installing the back fascia and the front fascia, which was kind of challenging, getting those boards, those big 2x10s all the way up on the front. The front wall is 11 feet tall. So yeah, the overhang, my plan is that I can use that to store ladders and some of the outdoor tools and stuff. I can hang them up against the wall. I can keep them out of the snow. And with an overhang that long, it gives me some area outside to store some stuff that'll be covered as well. So let me scroll through here. CB says, Sean, your shed shop is looking great. I love doing stick framing. It's so satisfying to see. This is amazing to me because the cabin was the first thing I ever built besides the chicken coop. And the chicken coop was just a disaster in the making. I'm going to build a new one next year. And for those wondering that you keep hearing Sam in the videos, you'll hear him for the next video or two, but he's already gone. He's moved on. I had 2 choices. It was either barbecue Sam, as I stated when I was putting the rafter. He was sounding an awful lot like barbecue. Or it was find Sam a new home, and I found him a new home. I didn't want to see anything bad happen to him, but he was way too aggressive. So he'll be gone in the next couple. But the first structure I ever built was the cabin that I'm in now. And as you can tell, it's nowhere even near finished yet. It doesn't look much different from last year. But this is the second structure I've ever built. And oh my gosh, has it gone so much more smoother. It's just phenomenal how much easier this has gone. Oh, you like the music? I try and change the music up every year for the intro videos that I do. So I guess the first lives that I was doing on here was like 2021 from working on the cabins. So we have 2021, 22, 23, 24, and then this is 2025. But yeah, I love playing with music in the videos. Karen, the family's doing fantastic. My daughter got married this summer, so I got down there for her wedding, which was super, super cool. Got to see all my grandkids. I had a wonderful, wonderful time. I had my youngest daughter and granddaughter up here, and that was just phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. Potatoes, speaking of my granddaughter, she helped me plant the potato bed. The harvest of the potatoes will probably happen this week because we do have a couple of dry days, and those potato tops have pretty much all died off, so I'm kind of excited to see how many potatoes I get out of that bed. The onions, that I planted next year, I'm going to start those much sooner. I'm going to probably start those in January because I think that's the only thing lacking from what would happen with the onion bed. I've got some decent sized onions, but I think I could have got some really big ones if I'd have started them earlier. I've come a long way. It's amazing. I've learned so much, and I learn more every time I do something. And to me, that's the most fun is what I'm learning while I'm doing this. I'm 63 years old and I didn't do any of this growing up. I took metal shop. I never took wood shop in school. So this is all new for me, and it's just a total blast. Joseph saying, dinner time, chicken and dumplings. Without the dumplings, I use spinach tortellini. Yum. I love tortellini. I'm a huge tortellini guy. I got spinach ready, or I got chicken in the fridge, going to go in the oven after this is over. We'll probably go for about an hour today, too, folks. Lisa K, awesome to have you here today. The shed shop is big and looking great. It is huge. It's a lot bigger than it looks on the outside, and I'm kind of framing it because there's a thought in my mind that I could easily convert that to another cabin, or even just a bathhouse on half of it, and then build another woodshed. So It's only tough the first time, then it gets easy. I don't know. It's tough every time because every time I seem to do something, I change it and I do it completely different than I did before. But the basics are there, and I think if I could convince anybody of anything, it would be to get out of your comfort zone because I'm totally out of my comfort zone almost all the time, and teach yourself how to do something new, and then just keep at it because it's when you find something you really enjoy doing, it is so much fun. Northwoods almost lit the stove last night. 34 overnight. My stove's going right now, and it's mainly going because it was like 58 in the cabin this afternoon, or probably about 2 hours ago when I fired up the wood stove, and the humidity was ridiculous. The humidity was like in the low 70s, and now I've got the humidity down to about 49%. Is that what it says? Yeah, 49%, but it's 75 inside now. So, but I've been burning a fire a day on my day off, maybe once during the week. Our high temperatures right now are maybe the low 60s at the outside, mostly in the high 50s, and our lows are in the 40s. We really have had maybe 1 or 2 days that we got down to the 30s, but we're not there yet. Let's see what I got here. Great to be live, Karen. Awesome to see you as well. Eves, welcome. It is awesome to see you. It's good to see you guys. It's good to hang out with you. The title of this live, I don't know, or in the description of this live, I don't know how often I'm going to be able to go live this year. Mainly because I'm trying to get so much done. I think when we get into the cold part of the year, I'll probably have no problem making it on Sundays. But I don't know that I'll be live next weekend. It'll all depend on what's happening for weather to try and get the last things wrapped up on the woodshed so I can get all the garbage out of my yard, all the equipment and stuff that I've got in there, and get it moved into the storage part so that I'm cleaned up before winter gets here this year. Matt, hope everyone's having a good fall. The colors of Alaska Highway. Oh, the colors are just fantastic right now. The leaves are all changing. It is absolutely gorgeous. I've been trying to get out with the camera and the drone to head up towards Cooper Landing again because the colors are just brilliant and beautiful. But with the rain and the garbage weather, I'm like, I'm not going up there. And then when it's not really bad, I'm like, okay, I got to work on the building. Penny Swan, I'm also jealous of Shauna was younger and better health, kind of vicariously living. And awesome. I love that. I love that. I love to hear that kind of stuff. That makes me feel good. Oh no. Complained about way too many violent game ads to Google, and now I get several each live stream. It's the way it works, right? That is the way it works. Hey, I can be accused of many things, but I can never be accused of not being passionate about what I'm doing. I am a very passionate individual when I'm doing something. Sometimes over the top. Joe, happy birthday, brother. Awesome. Destiny, Sean, how is that front door? Is it ready for winter? So the doors on the new building, no, and the door on the cabin, no. I'll get everything sealed though. That's part of the rush to get everything kind of finished up. I figure I have a month, at least a month before I have to worry about the S word, and then then we'll be in trouble. So I'll be running through getting as much done as I possibly can. Karen, thank you for becoming a member. Greatly appreciate that. I don't have a whole lot of stuff that I actually can do for folks that become members. I set up the membership thing when I could a couple of years ago. So one of the things that I do is every time I upload the video for the next week, the minute it's uploaded, I open it up to viewers to be able to, or members to be able to watch it right away. So that's really the only perk that you get besides my undying thanks for doing that, is that the minute the video is uploaded, you can watch it usually a day early, sometimes 2 days early, before Friday. But yeah, that's about all I do, and I greatly appreciate everyone. Craig Porter, where'd you go there? There you are, Craig. Greetings from across the river, buddy. Fall colors are amazing, aren't they? They're just fantastic. Craig, you slayed it this year on salmon too, my friend. You just slayed it. It was nuts. Yes, I think that if you're going to do anything in life, do it with passion. I completely agree. Christy, good to see you. Can't stay long since you're making dinner. That's all right. If you guys are in here for 5 minutes or if you're in here for the whole live, I appreciate it either way. A member for 29 months. Thank you, Christy. Greatly appreciated. Byron, hey, are you going to Home Depot today? Not today. Today I am not going anywhere. I haven't left the cabin. So I got up this morning. I slept in till about 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. Got up, had coffee, watched a few videos, watched Woodness Goodness's latest video. Graham at Woodness Goodness the guy is just phenomenal. If you don't watch his channel, you need to watch him because he's just an awesome guy. And then got a fire going a little bit later after I had breakfast. I watched the Vikings finally play a decent football game. And I was kind of watching the Bears beat up on Dallas a bit before we went live, but I have not. And I cleaned. I'm starting to get stuff cleaned up and organized, and a pile of stuff I'm going to throw away and a pile of stuff that's going to go out to storage. So I'm getting ready with all that. The new neighbor has not started construction. What Charles and Annalyn from the Philippines are talking about right here is the issue that I had with my property line. I'm very, very grateful that I got that taken care of, and I'm super grateful that I got a chance to meet the neighbor over this whole deal. He's a great guy. He's probably not going to start building till next year. It just got too late in the season for him to get anything done this year. So, yeah, next year he should be getting it all done. But again, my neighbors are only here, except for Todd across the street, and maybe 2 or 3 others. My neighbors are only here in July, pretty much. The folks right next door to me over here, they only came up a couple of times this year. And the last time was Labor Day weekend when they closed everything up. So yeah, I do have houses around me, I don't really have neighbors that are here all the time. Speaking of neighbors, Todd, what's up, brother? Good to see you. His dog. Todd's got a Rottweiler named Yukon, and from the time he got that puppy, he brought it over here, and me and the puppy bonded. And so Todd comes over all the time, and he's always got Yukon with him. But lately, Yukon has gotten to the point where I'll be out working on something on the building, and all of a sudden I'll hear this noise, and I'll look down on the driveway, and here comes Yukon walking over. and if I don't see Todd within 2 minutes of Yukon running up the driveway, I know that Yukon is on his own. The ladies and the Black Beauties are doing fantastic. They have not missed a beat since Sam has left. If anything, they've become more friendly again. And that's the other thing about, I've raised those hens by hand, and I didn't want to have to. I want chicks. I would love to have chicks that are hatched from the chickens, but more than anything, I want them to feel comfortable around me, and that dynamic was gone with that rooster. After he got to a certain age and a certain point, he was just a jerk. I follow a lady who lives in the northernmost city in the world, and they are just getting snow. Yeah, Fairbanks has snow in the forecast for the next week. Just a couple of days, snow and rain. So that's pretty north as well. Susan, gonna say hi again as I had to jump off at the beginning. Okay, yeah, I said hello to you. I hope everything's going awesome for you down in Washington. All is well up here in Alaska. All is fantastic up here. Hang on, I'll get right back to you here in a minute. Excuse me. Penny was saying, I don't see an option to become a member. It should be down below the live video. It'll be down below any one of my videos, but there's a button down below that says join or something like that. Excuse me, Sean, do you have 2 load-bearing walls on the shed? Non-load-bearing walls may not need headers, but I always put them in the openings just on the safe side. Caution, meantime, hey, y'all. So I've had a couple of questions on that window that I built on the side, that last wall in that little video that I just showed you. There's no header in that. And that's because as I was researching it more, if you have a non-load-bearing wall that you put a window or a door in, you don't have to install a header because there is no load on that wall to begin with. So the only load-bearing walls are the 2 long ones, the tall front one and the back one, and the rafters coming down across the top. Both those walls take the load. The other 2 walls are not load-bearing walls. It's almost the same as my cabin here. The only difference is with the cabin, I have a pitched roof. So there is a center beam right behind the wood stove in here that holds the weight of the main ridge beam going across the top, and the same thing in the back. There's a center beam set of boards that I built a beam out of that hold that one up. But that is really the only place where the load is on those 2 and the outside walls. So, well, I did put a header in the window in the front. When I did the new building, I didn't bother with the header. I watched a few videos and they said you didn't have to do it. And honestly, it made more sense to me that way. But that's the only window I have in that building anyway. Brook Trout, awesome to see you, my friend. Glad you could make it. Thank you. I'm very, very pleased with how it's turning out so far. CB wants to know, how's my wood situation looking? Haven't seen a lot lying around the property. Going to continue using propane this year. I'm going to use some propane more than likely because I can't keep a wood stove going while I'm at work. And unfortunately, I'm gone for such a longer period of time. Then the wood stove won't run that long because we really don't have a hardwood up here that we can bank a fire with per se. So I'll be using propane. I had wanted to install a heater in the cabin this year, and I still might. But I'll have to finagle where I'm going to put it. But my wood situation, I've got split. I've probably got a half a cord sitting on the ground right now. Standing dead, I've probably got another 15 to 20 cords. So basically, the minute I cut it down and buck it up, it's ready to burn right away. So I'm actually sitting pretty. I'm not where I want to be. Obviously, you never are with firewood, but because I'd like to have 4 or 5 cords already stored and ready to go, but I'll be there in the next year or two, and I have enough to keep me warm this winter. Hester's Garage, Scott, awesome to see you, my friend. Thumbs up to you as well. Joseph, quick question. What is the new hype on the video comment, and does it help? So that was brought to my attention by Jay and Jen in one of their posts on Facebook that I read, and I messaged them, and I said, what is it? And they said, if you get enough hype buttons, people click the hype. Basically, they're saying to YouTube, share this video out more. So yeah, I believe that if you click the hype button, if you're watching the video and you like it and you click that hype button, it tells YouTube that the people who are watching the video think other people should see it. So I think it's a positive tool. Sunshine, it is awesome to see you. I hope all is well with you. All is awesome with me as well. I hope you and the hubby are doing good. The Texas Butterfly, good to see you. Good to be live. Yeah, Destiny's saying right here, you can hype new videos, and yes, it helps. I think you can hype up to 3 videos per week, and I think it only actually helps the video, or maybe it's only on the video for the first 24 or 48 hours. So. I don't know what you mean there, Karen. I think you were describing the member button. So I don't know if you're in the chat. Maybe she's saying there's a dollar button that you can click and that will open it up. I'm not looking at YouTube while I'm doing this live chat. I don't have my own live chat up on a different window, so I can't tell you what it looks like there. CV, roosters are all jerks eventually. I hated those blah, blah, blahs. When I took care of our chickens, couldn't turn your back on them. That's with Sam. It was so bad, I couldn't even walk by the fence. I'm not kidding you. If I walked by the fence, he would attack the fence. And there was a couple of times I just almost ended him because I have no tolerance for that. I have no tolerance for animals that do that. No judging you, Sean. You're the man and amazing. I can only envy at this point. No, but it's a valid question, right? I mean, excuse me, it is a valid question. And you're not the only one who mentioned that. I actually had it in a video, and I explained to him that because it's a non-load bearing wall, I didn't have to do it. I could have done it anyway. It wouldn't have made any difference. But there is absolutely no load on that wall. Penny wants to know, how much wood do I need for the winter? So for me, actually, I probably only need 2 cords because, like I said, I really only burn a fire when I'm home. And I leave the house, I leave the cabin every day at probably 3:15 in the morning, or 3:30 at the latest. And I'm not home again till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes a little later. So, I just have to have the wood. Besides my days off, I have the wood for when I'm home. And when I get home, the only reason I'm starting a fire and I'm only probably burning 1 or 2 logs is so I don't have to run the propane and it dries the cabin out. Josh, what's happening, my friend? Hey. And Josh is a member too. Look at that little S thing right there. He's a member. Much appreciated, my friend. Junior, how you doing? It is awesome to see you, my friend. Continue to look for it on the other. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I know it's on the other videos. It's got to be because people join, so it's got to be there somewhere. Good to see you as well. Good to see you as well. So, what else do I have planned for um, where I'm at with? So, basically, I have all the metal here for the roof right now. Um, Yesterday, I finished all the purlins on top of the roof of the new building. We'll call it the shed. So, I finished all the purlins on top of the shed. And if I had dry weather today, we wouldn't have been live right now. I'd have been putting metal on that roof. I'm ready. I've got everything lined up and dialed up and ready to go. So, unlike the cabin, I'm actually planning on finishing the entire roof. I still haven't finished the cabin roof. I still haven't put the trim package on the cabin roof yet. I would like to move the scaffolding up onto the deck and get the trim pieces installed on the front and the back gables before the snow hits, but that's not the 911. Right now, the 911 is to get that roof on, because once I have the roof on the shed, then I have to fill in the two sidewalls, the two small sidewalls. I might leave the wood shed side open just for air circulation, or do something a little different on the top just for air circulation. And then I build the wall in the middle, which again is a non-load bearing wall. I'll build that wall in the middle, and then I can move everything into the shed. So that's what I have left to do on that right away. I talked about it, I think, in more than one of the videos, but the front door of the shed shop part is a 3.0 door, 3-foot wide door. And it's going to be this door that I have on the cabin. So it's not going to have a door this year. I'll probably put plywood and hinges over it for this year, because I'm not ready to buy the new door and install a new door on the cabin yet. And then the big door, the woodshed side, I've decided is going to be a barn style sliding door, because I have plenty of room for it. And then the other part I still have to do too is I have to move the solar panels from the racks that I have them on now up onto the wall of the front of the shed. And that height is perfect to get great sunshine. Where was that here? Have I started a new brew? No, but I might start one here pretty soon. It was way too warm this summer. The last one I tried to do, I wasn't really happy with how it came out, so I picked up some better ingredients, or some more ingredients, to make a better beer. And I'll probably do that, I don't know, maybe in the next week or two. We'll have to see. I've been so busy trying to get this shed done when I get home from work, that I just haven't had a lot of time to do the oddball stuff I like to do. Steve, what's happening, brother? It's good to see you. Glad you could be here today. That cold that you have put the wood burning stove on, how cold is it? Right now, I mean, outside it's probably only 53. It's not bad. I fired up the wood stove more today just because of the moisture outside. But in the winter, when we were at 20 below outside, I had the inside of this cabin at 70 degrees. Easy 70. And I had to let it burn down quite a bit before I would add another piece of wood, because if I wasn't careful, I'd have this cabin 80 degrees at 20 below zero. So 100-degree difference inside to out. Yeah, and it dried up everything. It was crazy. So sounds like a two-man job. So what I have tried to do on this build more than anything is to build this by myself as much as possible. Now, in the rafter video, you saw Todd was up there. I already had a plan in place for how I was going to do that by myself, but Todd walked over and said, I'll help you put the rafters up. And I'd already had them cut. And I go, let's go, man. It's much easier to have one person up here and one person down here than it is for me to attach this rafter, and then attach the next rafter, and attach the next rafter, and get 4 or 5 rafters in, and then have to switch, go down and attach all the bottoms in, and then go back up to the top and attach the next ones. So I'll take help when I can get it, but I'm trying to do this as much as possible by myself. So the next video I was saying earlier was the back fascia and the front fascia, and leveling out those back rafters to get them to the point where they, where I want them to be. And it was rather interesting how I figured that out. I have an entire video on, so my plan is on the front of that, the fascias come all the way out, and they come out like 18 inches further on each side, so that I end up with even sheets of metal all the way across the top. Well, I had to figure out how to get those last overhang rafters that were out in the middle of nowhere all the way up from the ground by myself. And that's one video by itself. And I bet you it took me an hour and a half to figure out how to get that first one up. And once I figured it out, the next one was up in 10 minutes. I love trying to figure out how I'm going to do something by myself. To me, it's That's the coolest thing in the world. But on parts where I needed help, like when I lifted the front walls, the big walls, um, they were way too tall for me to lift by myself. I could have probably figured it out, but I wouldn't have had them all done in one day. So when I got them all framed out, Todd said, "Give me a shout," and Todd came over, gave me a hand putting them all up. Same with the back walls, although it was funny. I was going to film the back wall going up, but by the time I got the camera set up and ready to go, Todd reached down, picked it up, and put it all the way up by himself already. So, um, yeah, I'll take help where I need it, but I'm trying to do as much as possible by myself. Destiny, you don't need AC in the summer, do you? Not in the cabin. It stays cool enough. I keep the window open, but there are times when I'll turn the AC on in my truck. Yeah, there are times when it gets to be 75 and 80 degrees, I turn on the AC mainly because the humidity is usually so high it's ridiculous. So I like the AC just to take the edge off of everything. Will I add siding to the storage building this year? Yes and no. I'm kind of tossed. I'm kind of in two minds of this on how I want to finish it up. I haven't finished the siding on the cabin because I know how I want to finish it, but next year's big project is a bedroom extension off the back behind me here. And I want to finish the siding all at one time when I do it. I'm kind of thinking that that's when I'll finish the siding on the shed too, because then I can get it all done in one shot and everything will look the same. That's why I went with the roof that I went with. So the roof is the same color roof as I have on the cabin because I want everything to be as uniform as I possibly can. I mean, I may not be that great at doing this, but I can make it look the same. Brady G, what's happening? No cold weather yet here today, my friend. It hasn't. No, we haven't been cold hardly at all yet. Cool, rainy, wet, but not cold. You guys had a good system going with the rafters. It was pretty cool. It worked out well. I didn't realize because it's only 10 feet, right, from top to bottom across, and it worked out. I popped a couple nails in the top, reached over, handed Todd the nail gun. He popped the next ones. I'd stand the next rafter up. He'd line it up and hand me the nail gun back. And yeah, that took a total of maybe from one side of the cabin to the other. It might have been 20 minutes total. It was nuts how fast those went up. But it helps that that every rafter was cut the way it was supposed to be cut, and every rafter fit the way it was supposed to fit. This roof was a nightmare because I didn't square the walls up properly, so there was some crazy stuff at the top. And it's fine, right? But we had to pretty much measure every rafter that we did on this one when Todd helped me. But that one, everyone went perfect because I had everything squared up. Oh, that's crazy. People driving the haul road in a bus, that's brave. Although I guess in a bus, it's diesel, so you get pretty good mileage, I guess. And you're not going too fast, I'd imagine. But man, that's got to be crazy. That's braver than me. Special shout out to Destiny. Have the prices for the shed build been reasonable this year? So I figure at this point with metal and the one wrap of plywood that I have all the way around the bottom now, because I use plywood for siding instead of OSB. I wasn't going to fight OSB this year because I knew it was going to rain and I did not want that stuff swelling up on me. I'm not a fan of OSB. I'm really not. I don't think I'll ever use OSB in a project again, just because I don't like the way the weather affects it. But where I'm at right now, let's call it with the roof on and everything, I'm sitting at about $5,000 to build that thing. So about $5,000. The metal was basically $1,250. It was $1,300, but I picked up a piece of metal for Brother Will because he wanted some metal for the top of his shed that a tree fell on last year. But that was like $1,350, and then I think or $1,300, and I think at that point I was right around $3,500. In total materials for the build. So yeah, not that bad at all, really. A lot of work, but Ward and Todd will help you out, right? Yeah, Ward, it was funny because when we mixed the concrete, I was ready. I was mixing the concrete by myself. I had everything set up. I was going to mix and pour concrete by myself. Well, the weekend before, I had helped Ward do the trusses that was actually at Brother Will's house over the carport that Brother Will had built. And beat me to death. I don't think I've been in that much pain in my life. And I didn't realize why it hurt so bad until I got to thinking about the fact that when I put the end of the truss up for Ward to hold, I picked the entire truss up myself. So I must have ripped every muscle that I had in my sides because the next day I was dying. Anyway, Ward came by when I was mixing the first 2 bags of concrete, and he goes, "Ah!" He was all mad, that he came by when he did because he thought I was going to be done already, and so he just jumped right in and helped. But yeah, that was awesome. And then Todd, is always, I mean, Todd here's a nail gun going off over here. He comes over right away. Hey, what's going on? What are we doing? What are we working on? I have some awesome neighbors, and I have some awesome people in my life. I am very happy for that. Rabby baby, wouldn't it be more convenient for you to have the side with your wood storage closest to your house deck for loading the firewood in the cold of winter? Yes, that's a good point. But it's only 12 feet further down, and I'm actually going to keep my snowblower in the shop side. So for me, it'll be easier to, when I get home, to walk down my stairs, shovel those off, shovel off the ramp that comes out that front door, walk into the shed, grab my snowblower, and drive it right out and start blowing the driveway. So I have three, this will be 3 locations for wood storage for me. So the wood shed is going to be where the bulk of my firewood is stored. On my deck, I have a big box that I built that's covered with metal that I fill up, and that is where I draw my firewood into the house from. And then inside the house, next to the wood stove, I have a rack that holds 3 days worth of firewood at any given time. So there's 3 days of firewood right next to the wood stove. There's a week and a half's worth of firewood sitting on the deck, and then there'll be the bulk of the firewood in the woodshed. So for that 12-foot walk, I kind of thought that it would be easier to have the storage in the shop closer than the firewood, if that makes sense to you. It was summer, would never do it in winter. Yep. So how much did the cabin cost so far? Property and all, so land and the cabin itself, I'm thinking maybe $30,000, maybe $35,000 total. I didn't keep track of the bills like I should have, and then I'm not done. So probably $35,000 land and all. Probably because I paid 10 grand for the land, and then maybe 25 grand for materials for building the cabin. So that would just be a guess. Terry, what's happening? We haven't started talking about food yet. Joe tried to drag me into it. I think I'm going to either do a nice big bowl of split pea soup tonight for dinner, or I'm going to make some chicken I have in the refrigerator that I thawed out. If I do the chicken, I'll probably do Bisquick chicken. Oh, that is awesome, Junior. That is awesome. So I should give you guys an update on the electric here in the cabin with Junior's comment here. I got those 2 Vader batteries, upgraded the whole system, got everything running on batteries, did not run a generator on this property other than to operate the power tools for the entire summer, from spring when I installed those batteries until today. I ran the generator for the first time on, I think it was Thursday or Friday, because we have had like 2 weeks of zero sun. I mean, it was just raining every single day. And then, of course, the next day the sun came out. It was absolutely crazy. But when I fired up the generator to top off the batteries, I was still at 58% charge on my batteries. I just figured, what the heck, I'll fire it up because I haven't done it in a while, and I wanted to make sure the generator was ready to go for this winter because I hadn't even used it for tools for a while either. So yeah, I'm super happy with the system. Todd and I are going to go in. He's going to buy 2 more batteries. I'm going to buy 2 more batteries as well. So we're going to go in and buy them together because you get a discount when you buy 4. And I'll probably do that in October when the PFD comes in. And I'll just take my whole PFD and put it into batteries. So I will double my battery storage, or my electrical storage, for the cabin at that point. And that will mean that I could run the entire property without putting a charge on anything, without being connected to a solar panel. I could run the entire place for 14 days easy, absolutely easy. But I would like to get a freezer and a couple of other things that will require electricity. So I need to look at that. I don't know. It's going to be fun this winter to see how well the solar panels do. They have done phenomenal. 2 that get morning sun. I have 2 that get afternoon sun right now, and then I have 2 more that I haven't even connected to anything yet. They're over in Todd's shop, so I'm set as far as that goes. Where was I at up here? Yeah, that hurt. That hurt, Lisa. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, just let me know if you would leave a comment in there and let me know when you see an ad, just so I know how. I set it at medium because you can either go low, medium, or high, and I wasn't going to go to high. I set it at medium this time, and let's see how bad it is. If it's bad, I'll go to low next time. Better to keep distance between buildings for a fire safety reason. Yes and no. If you're fire wise and you keep your property clear, you don't really have to have that problem. And I'm cutting down so many trees that I'm going to be pretty clear when everything's said and done. And we're going into winter. We've had a lot of rain, so fires at this time of year, unless they're caused by me, are not going to be an issue. Pedro, it's awesome to see you, my friend. Glad you could pop in. Oh, you got a 3,000 watt. Okay, cool. I need to upgrade my inverter, though. That's one thing I do need to do. I'll probably do that this winter. Oh, rub it in. Cannoli and coffee. A good cannoli. Oh, I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous, Joe. Yeah, I have used, and I'll tell you what, I've used almost no gasoline this year at all. I had one 5-gallon can, and I only fill them up to 4 gallons because a round trip for me to the gas station and back is like, I don't know, 35, almost 40 miles. So I always like to have a full can in the can I'm working out of. But I only fill them with 4 gallons because they shake around a lot in the truck, so I don't want to deal with that. Propane has also not been an issue. Yeah, my fuel costs have really dropped. Sean, are you eventually thinking of putting solar panels onto the shed when the roof is done? Yes. So I'll need to explain this better. So front of the shed, right? Front of the shed, right here, the tall side. Above the doors, those panels are going to be mounted right there. I won't mount solar panels on a roof in snow country because I can't clean them. I can't get to them to knock the snow off of them. So I'm going to mount them flat on the side of the building, but I'm going to hinge them so that during the spring and the fall, I can give them a slight angle. During the winter, they need to be almost completely level. Because the sun is so low on the horizon. So I'm going to mount them across the front of that. And then eventually I may build a solar array. I kind of alluded to the fact, I think back a few videos when we were doing all the work when the Dirt Fairy was here, Todd. I had him clear out the area back behind where my motorhome's at because I'd like to build an outdoor kitchen there. I'll probably mount a couple of panels on top of the outdoor kitchen as well. And then I had him clear an area up back behind the shed build that I have since the day I first moved onto this property. I thought would be a great location for a greenhouse because the sun exposure there is just incredible. So that'll probably be the first project of spring. We'll be putting a greenhouse up there, starting to build a greenhouse right on the ground so that I can maybe grow some tomatoes and peppers. I can't really do that here outside. Sean, do you have a video on your solar system? I didn't catch it. I do. I have a couple of them. I have the one on the Vader batteries. So if you check that one out, Vader batteries are incredible. I am so pleased with those batteries. They're self-heating, the ones that I got, so that if the temperature gets too low, they will actually heat themselves so they don't destroy the battery. And they hold a charge like nobody's business. And since I installed them in the spring, they're good for 5,000 cycles, right? That's a minimum. And 5,000 cycles means taking it down to 0 and all the way back up to 100, down to 0 and all the way back up to 100. I've only got, I think, 57 cycles max on those batteries at this point, or that's what it was like a week ago. But there should be the Vader battery video will show you the solar system, and then it's either that video or the one right after it will explain how it did the first initial test. So I plugged this refrigerator that I have here. I plugged this in, and that's basically my main, not counting my lights. They're all 12 volt. But I plugged this refrigerator in to that inverter, to that battery system after I had everything wired before I hooked up a solar panel. And I kept it topped off and charged with a generator because I hadn't installed the solar panels yet. And those 2 batteries ran my refrigerator for 9 days before the batteries failed, before they went to 0. So Super awesome. Scroll through here, see what else we got. Michael, how you doing, my friend? Great to see you. I'm late to the party. Great to see you doing live. It has been a while. It has been a while. I kind of dropped off last year and stopped doing them. I just started getting busy again. You know, I enjoy doing them though. Obviously, right? I've never had a problem talking. I've never had a problem talking. Rebby Bibby, any plans for finishing the interior drywall this winter? I've got some ideas. So the main thing that gets to me more than anything is I want to do everything I'm doing in cash. So I have to budget where I'm going to spend my money and where I need to do it. But I would really like to not look at insulation. So I'm going to start looking at materials as we get into fall and see how much it's going to cost me. But I don't want to do a little bit and stop, a little bit and stop, a little bit and stop. So if I want to do, for example, the ceiling, I want to get the materials to do the entire ceiling. So I'll start at the top and I'll work my way down. This back wall won't get finished until I build the addition, which I said that's my plan for next year is to throw the bedroom addition out. It's going to be basically the size of that shed. So it's going to be 24 feet long, the full length of the cabin, and it'll be at least 10 feet, maybe 12 feet wide, because I want to, at the back of that, I'm going to throw water storage and I'm going to put my entire, it's going to be my utility room. So I'll have water storage and my electrical and all that stuff will be at the back of that bedroom, maybe the back 10 feet. And then everything else will be bedroom with a window pointing out towards the front. Yeah. So that's kind of the plan. Destiny got another ad. Okay. Navy Dave, what's up, brother? Good to see you, my friend. Not a lot, man. You've been busy. Dave's been doing a lot of stuff on his place, man. You got to check out Navy Dave. You got to check out Navy Dave. Leave the gun. Take the cannoli. What movie's that from? I know the line. Yeah, right. An outdoor kitchen. I want to build a wood-fired oven so that I can fire up my wood-fired oven and go make pizza. I want to build a wood-fired oven just so I can have pizza out of a wood-fired oven. That is honestly why I want one. But I'm talking about a covered gazebo area so that when it is a crappy day like today, I could still go outside and, sit outside and grill and relax and sit outside and not have the rain hit me in the head. Big fire pit in the middle. That'd be nice. That'd be a ton of fun. Sean, the outdoor kitchen sounds amazing. Looking forward to seeing the meals you'll eventually be preparing out there. Me too, man. Oh, yeah. Pizza. If I miss your comment, guys, leave it again and do it in all caps, and I'll come back and I'll say it again because I'm trying to scroll through and make sure I hit everybody's comment. If you have something to say, I want to answer to it. I want to be able to answer it. Everybody's saying hi to Beto. Ugh, kidney stones are not good. That was your first comment. Medical issue like kidney stones in the middle of winter. They're not. That's not. I have a friend of mine and she has issues with that on occasion, and they are not a fun thing to deal with. Yeah, I could. I have a lot of area that I can do some different solar stuff on. And I told my kids, so I have two daughters and I have 4 grandkids. One daughter has 3 and one daughter has 1. And I told them both that, I've got an acre and a half here. And now that I know exactly where the property lines are, I know how big it is and where we could put stuff. And I could easily build 2 more cabins for each family, each of the kids' families. But I told them if I do that, I'm just building the frames, and you guys have to come up and finish the inside, however you want the inside done. So yeah, there's plenty of room to do different stuff, and it'd be nice to build an actual solar array at one point if I need it, depending on how much power I'll use. I found that this whole project started living in a fifth wheel trailer on the property, and I was very frugal about the power that I used, and I found that I don't really use that much power still today. I have these two. I have this Afery and this Opes solar generator sitting down below me, and those run, other than the refrigerator, those run all the power I need for the entire week without me having to worry about them going dead. So yeah, I don't know how big of a system I'll need in the end. Oh, what's one do? I mean, here it's 20 miles from here to the hospital. So I guess you go to the hospital, right? I mean, I'm in town every single day. I'm in town Monday through Friday anyway, working. I still work full time, trying to figure a way out of that as soon as I can. I don't know if you guys are going to be ready for all the videos you'll get. What am I going to do for water storage? Buried cistern, so the weather isn't an issue. I couldn't bury it deep enough, to be honest with you. So I'll probably get a tank, an internal tank. I would like to get a well drilled. I actually tried to contact a couple of companies this year, but I waited too late, um, and they were all, the waiting list was forever. So I'm looking at having a well installed, and then I'll run the water from the well to a holding tank inside, and then pressurized tank from there to inside. For bathroom and that kind of stuff. Bath, shower, kitchen sink. As far as a septic field goes, um, I don't know that I'm going to get away from the whole outhouse thing. I actually don't mind an outhouse. But if I do, what I'll probably do is put a septic tank in with no leach field and then just have somebody come out and pump it every year or two. That way I don't lose space in the ground for a leach field, if that makes sense. I don't think we realize the friendships we made through Sean. So the nice, awesome, man. I love that. I love that. That is freaking cool. The friendships I've made since I started doing this off of YouTube, it's just phenomenal to me. It's just absolutely incredible. I did an outside kitchen propane stove, during hurricane power outages and canning. Awesome. See, yeah, for canning, right? I didn't even think about that. That would be fantastic to just have something that you can cover under, especially um, eventually I'd like to get to the point with a garden where I'm canning most of my own food. Like Simple Living Alaska. I don't know that my garden will ever be that big. I mean, theirs is huge and it's phenomenal. And if you don't watch them, you need to because they're awesome, awesome people. And Ariel has got a green thumb like nobody's business, and Eric can build anything. That guy is like looks at something and says, how can I do this?" And that's what I really enjoy. They're living the dream, man. They are living the dream. But I would like to get to the point where I'm canning like that. And to be able to do that outside would be fantastic. I want to build a smokehouse. I planned on building one this year. Now I'm thinking I'm just going to build it on the end of the woodshed because it's going to be a cold smoke. I don't need a hot house for smoking, which means the fire will be separate. I got a million things going on in my head every day about what I can do here. How bad were the state birds this year? The mosquitoes were not that bad, really. Actually, they were probably worse in the fall than they were ever in the summer and the spring. They're still nuts out there. It's crazy. But they weren't that bad. Oh, was that the Godfather Penny? Oh, very cool. I know. Sheetrock has its place. Okay, so like the kitchen, I wanted the kitchen sheetrock. I mean the ceiling's wood, but I wanted the kitchen sheetrock because I wanted a surface I can paint and make bright. But I'm thinking back behind the wood stove here would be just incredible with the wood and the stone coming together. That would be phenomenal because I have a piece of live edge birch over here that I could inlay and scribe around and make that like a header over that block. It would be awesome. Be phenomenal. I'm telling you, if I didn't have a job and money was no object. Devoted Seeker, welcome, my friend. I haven't seen you in here before. I'm excited about buying my own property in Kenai in the next 2 weeks. Very cool. Very cool. There's some beautiful property over by Kenai. It's I don't really think that there is an ugly part of Alaska other than the city of Anchorage. And that's just because it's a city. And as far as cities go, to me, it's very dirty. And it's dirty because it's always windy and the sand and the dirt are blowing off the hillsides and everything else. But it's a city. But other than that, every part of Alaska has its own beauty. It's just incredible. Canadian Jerry, good to see you, my friend. It is awesome that you could pop in today. 50 miles from hospital, ambulance is at least a 30-minute wait. Believe me, you found out. It's, man, for me, I don't know how long it would take an ambulance. Well, I mean, our fire station down here, we have a fire station out here in Funny River, and I think it's actually manned 24/7 now. So I don't think an ambulance would be the big problem. It would just be the time of the year and navigating from here down to town because it can get pretty nasty. The roads can get pretty bad. Laurel, good to see you. Wisconsin here. Love watching your videos. Thanks so much. Thank you very much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate it. Everybody saying hi to Beto. Well, drilling is money. I know, right? It's crazy. You can't do septic without leach fields. It's stupid, but no one knows. But if no one knows, it isn't illegal. It's not illegal here because I don't need a permit for it. I need a permit for a septic field, but I don't need a permit for a storage tank. So it's all in how you word it. So I'm installing a ground storage tank. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Sean, when you're tired of cold outhouse, come visit me in Florida, an indoor bathroom. When I go to the bathroom, I just go to the bathroom. I'm in, I'm out, I'm done. When I lived in California and I had a warm bathroom that I could go into and take care of business, I was sitting there for 15 or 20 minutes. I don't do that anymore. PTO Motorsports, what's happening? Thank you very much. I greatly. Building materials give me a sticker shock too. When I bought the rafters was probably the single biggest wood purchase price that I had for that entire build, and that was just under $600. But yeah, that was what 21 boards because it was 19 rafters across the top and then the 2 overhangs. But yeah, wood's crazy. Wood's ridiculous. The only thing worse than wood is buying nails. Would I drill for a well? If I had the equipment, I would. I can't do like a sandpoint well or something like that here because I don't know how deep I would have to go. I think that's the biggest issue is, so you could get to water from people I've talked to in this area. You can get to water in 60 feet, but is it good water or is it bad water? And for that, I'd rather have a professional do it. Junior, I don't know that I'm going to do every Sunday. I kind of mentioned this before. So for everybody that jumped in later, I'll let you guys know. If the weather's good, I will not more than likely be on live on Sunday, but I'll give you a heads up and let you know one way or the other. But just keep your eye open for the post saying whether or not I'm going to be live, because if the weather is right, I'm going to be busting my butt to get that shed finished. So until we get to the real cold weather where I'm not really working outside anymore, then I'm probably going to be on and off. Hang on one second. I'm online right now. I'm live. Thanks. You got it back?
Got it back, grabbing your trash. Have a good week. Friday.
Thank you, brother. That was Will. Came by and grabbed a ladder, and he's grabbing my trash because he's going to the dumps. Dawn Eslick. Hey, wait, now I lived in Anchorage from 85 to 89 before it fell apart. It was pretty. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. But I was born in San Francisco, California, and that was a beautiful city too. So times change. I'm not a fan of cities at all, if you haven't been able to tell. Sean, you were the one to convince me to buy land in Alaska. Very cool. You know what? You're not the only person I've convinced, right? So when you come here, I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell everybody. If I convinced you, you have to absolutely love this state while you're here because it's just incredible. That's all I'm going to say. What's the old saying? Leave no mark, or haul it in, haul it out. My whole thing is leave it better than it was when you found it. And just love it and respect it. I absolutely love this place. When am I going to rock the kilt again? Probably when I break down and spend the $400 and something to buy a new one, because the old one is pretty shot. I put it on a couple of times this year, but there is the rule of Sean's not allowed to wear a kilt while he's on the ladder because nobody wants to see that. Lalit or Aurora. I hope I got that right. Sean, love watching your videos in Minnesota. Thanks for your jovial nature and go-getter attitude. It lightens up my day. Very cool. Thank you very much. That lightened up my day. That made my day as well. Thank you. Brother Will. Corgi Alaskan Dreams. I'm here in Nikiski and loving all this rain, but thinking back, I don't think we had as many wildfires in the peninsula this summer. I know we didn't. It was nice. We didn't really have hardly any wildfires to speak of. We had a few small ones, but nothing big. We don't need a repeat of what I guess 2013 or 2015 when Funny River caught on fire and we got escorted out. And then a couple of years ago, we had the big fires going up towards Cooper Landing, and we don't need that. But it's going to happen again with all the dead trees and no way to get it out. I'm sure it's going to happen again. But knock on wood that no structures or people are lost. No people or structures first. Moving to Alaska in spring and can't wait. You're gonna love it up here. This place blows my mind every single day. Destiny says, Sean, what changes would you do if I were to do it all again? Well, I know more now, so I would have taken my time to make sure I really double check my measurements and stuff when I was building to begin with, because it's been a nightmare with some of that stuff. What else? I mean, the whole thing's been an adventure from day one. So I can't. I mean, how do you say you would change an adventure? I mean, it's when I first had moved onto the property, I had a timeline and a plan for building a cabin, and then COVID happened, and the prices of everything went through the roof. So I ended up doing an extra year or two in a trailer, off grid, in Alaska with almost no heat. I mean. There were days I woke up and went, man, somebody's gonna find my body here someday. But no, I don't know that there's much I would change. I would have loved to have done this with somebody, with a partner. That would have been, to me, incredible. But it was just me, so I just made the best of it. Wouldn't have minded even having a dog, but I couldn't justify that when I was living in a trailer. I don't know. There's not much I would change. There's not much I would change at all. Alaska's gorgeous. I did the rail into Denali and back out and took a cruise down the Inside Passage. I've never done either one of those. But there's so much to see here. It's phenomenal. Ah, very cool. Yep. Lived here before and coming back, you're hooked. Do I think it's going to be a colder? Oh, there's raspberry. More windows. what I would have done differently. Russell, what are you talking about? I got huge windows up top. I got two huge windows right here. I got a window in the kitchen, and I have a small house. I have no windows over there because there's no light over there. It's dark all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Squeeze Me wants to know, do I think it's going to be a colder than normal season this year? I don't know. It's starting out to be pretty mild. It's fall and we haven't really gotten super cold or had a freeze yet. Last couple of years, November's been the coldest month we've had. We've hit the minus 20s in November and then warmed up for the rest of the winter. So I have no idea. Well, that's the job to have, though, to be a weatherman, because you can be wrong 90% of the time and still get a great paycheck every week. My daughter Jocelyn wants to know how cold it gets. So the coldest I've had here, I think, was 31 below zero on this property. But the coldest I've been in was when I lived in Fairbanks in 1999 to 2000. And on New Year's Eve, it was 63 below zero. And the high temperature for 3 weeks was 45 below zero. So depends on where you're at. It can get crazy cold, or it can be super mild. Like I'm considered a mild area to be, but Juneau, I mean, they rarely get below zero. Yes, the more windows. I only have so many blankets, Destiny. That's what I use to cover my windows with, is blankets. I only have so many. Penny, thank you for that. It doesn't seem like the ads have been that bad yet. CB, I don't know how you survived that RV. I mean, I'm glad you did. Dude, it was crazy. I look back on it and laugh. And my kids are like, Dad, there was a couple of times we were going to call and have Uncle Will go get you. But yeah, I mean, it was nuts, man. There were some times that, I actually sat down and talked to myself about, man, am I an idiot or what? I mean, I know I am, but there was some crazy, sketchy stuff I did there. Russell, I don't mean just Sean. Every cabin needs more windows. Russell, I don't know if you watch Woodness Goodness or not, if you watch Graham, but it seems like every time he builds a place, one whole wall is windows. And that's what he did in the cabin that he's working on right now. The whole front wall is nothing but windows. And all I can think of is who's cleaning that glass? That's Sean, for someone who knew very little about building, you did a fantastic job, my friend. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. You can learn to do anything. I am a firm believer that you can teach yourself to do, or I can teach myself to do anything. If I could do it, you can. The only thing I can't teach myself to do that I've tried so far, and I think it's mainly because I haven't tried hard enough, is to play a musical instrument. I can play a bit of banjo, but man, I've got a guitar, a mandolin, a fiddle, and I can't play any of them. I keep saying I'm going to do it in the winter when I slow down, and I haven't slowed down enough yet. But I honestly believe that anybody can teach, especially with YouTube, you could teach yourself how to do anything going to the University of YouTube. Shoot, we're over an hour already. Well, I'll run a little bit longer. I got questions to catch up to. Ugh. Yeah, that 63 below zero was no wind chill. That was the actual temperature. That was the ambient air temperature. But man, oof, cold. You get a lot of snow where you are, like the interior or like the interior area? Yes, yes and no. We can have a storm come through that actually dumps quite a bit of snow. But I'm from the Sierra Nevadas in California, so I'm no stranger to snow. I'm no stranger to. I mean, we'd go to bed in California in the Sierras. You go to bed at night with nothing on the ground and wake up the next day with 4 feet. That rarely happens in any part of Alaska that I'm near. We'll get, the thing is that when you get the snow here, it doesn't melt generally. So it just keeps piling up. And every storm that comes through, you get more and more and more. So for us to get a storm where we get a foot of snow is a pretty rare thing. It's more likely that your storms, when they come through, are going to give you 3 to 4 inches of snow. Right. So not super big storms for snow totals, but multiple time after time, it just piles up. I visited Alaska in August of 2017 with my family for 3 weeks. It's huge. We rented an RV and did an entire loop. The place the kids loved the most was Kenai around the Russian River. Russian River, that is beautiful up there. That's towards Cooper Landing. That is gorgeous. That is the prettiest place on the Kenai Peninsula. Maybe Homer, just because the views in Homer are just incredible. Scott, thank you, brother. Much appreciated. Greatly appreciated, my friend. Every bit helps, and it all goes to building something else or buying a new tool. That's the other thing is when I started this, I couldn't swing a hammer, for anybody who's new. And I had a framing hammer, and I was building the first beams in the driveway for the cabin, and I couldn't hit the nails. It was terrible. I couldn't swing a hammer. I'd never really done it. And so one of my viewers nicknamed that hammer. He goes, "You got to call that hammer lightning because it never hits the same place twice." Well, I lost lightning 2 or 3 years ago. It was on the tailgate of my truck, I think, and I drove off, and I've never been able to find it. But framing this building now, and now I've got nail guns, and I've got chop saws, and I've got tons and tons of stuff to do all the work with, a lot of cordless stuff, and it just amazes me. And I reach over and I grab my framing hammer now, and I got a nail whose head's poked up a little bit, and I amaze myself still. I'm like, holy smokes! I still remember how to use a hammer. It's been phenomenal to me. Maybe Dave, all that camper living made the cabin more sweeter. It sure did. And a kitchen. Oh God, I love having a kitchen. I don't use it enough, but I love having a kitchen. Thank you for that, Joseph. When you guys hit the thumbs up, that's one thing that does tell YouTube, hey, this was fun. Maybe we should suggest it to other people. Doesn't matter whether it's a video or a live. The only difference in a live, I think, is that when you're live, it may suggest it to other people while they're on and you are live. So greatly appreciated. Anytime you hit the thumbs up. Yes, one of my neighbors out here in Funny River was giving away a bunch of rain gutter, and they had 70 feet, and I'd like to do it this fall before we get too far along, but I'm going to run gutters on the side of the cabin here, and eventually I'd like to run gutters on every roof that I have on the property to collect rainwater for the garden. No matter what, I think that would be even if I do eventually get a well, I think that would be a great thing to do. I agree. Two things that go together well: a view and a wall of windows. Z to the Pizzle, Sean from Kentucky. Awesome to catch you live. Great to have you here, my friend. We're just about ready to wrap this one up, folks. I'm getting down towards the bottom of the comments, and I think we're going to call it a day, and then I'll try and do it again. Like I said, if the weather's right, I probably won't be live, only because I need to get the shed and the property cleaned up and get all that stuff done before probably the second or third week of October. But if we have another crappy, rainy, windy day, I'll probably be in here and we'll be live. So definitely. That is a thing all in itself. Yeah, learning how to use the tools is a completely different skill too. My respect for carpenters and framers and builders and finishers has gone through the roof since I started this. It is amazing what you take for granted when you don't do it. Ads aren't that bad. You're welcome. Thanks for being sensitive to watch you analyze. Awesome. Good. Russell, I downloaded videos to my laptop and enjoyed my property work. That's all. But exactly right. I did. Oh man, I'll tell you. With my cell phone, the stuff that I watched, I have entire television series downloaded that I watched and kept myself company with. And you got to keep your brain going. I do audiobooks while I'm driving. Sometimes I'll play them while I'm just sitting in here. And anything to keep your mind off of how bad the situation really is can make it that much more comfortable. A few chords, Sean Alaska Lunafor chords, and I'll make you a custom strap for whatever string you have. Oh, right on. Very cool. I like that. I might have to learn some chords. Yeah, I actually might have been up there. If that was within the last 10 years, I was probably in Anchorage when that storm hit, because I used to go to the Barley Wine Festival every year that they do in Anchorage in January, and there was more snow than I have ever seen. It was absolutely epic. It was crazy. I thought I was at Lake Tahoe. It was snowing that crazy. There are winter days when it's cooler here. It is. There are. Yeah, there are. There are days when it's colder, and believe me, if I see that, I will tell you that we're warmer than you are. Howie, you popped in at the end, man. I'm just getting ready to get off of here. Renee, lightning. Yep, that was a great hammer. Man. I had lightning and I had thunder. Thunder is the mall. Oh, WCAM, what's happening, man? I haven't seen you forever. What's up? I was busy all year, man. It was crazy. This has been a pretty busy year for me, getting stuff done. And then I avoided town like the plague. Did I get a beer and an ice cream for all my hard work? I got an ice cream. I don't know, about a week ago. I just decided I'd had enough beer lately, so I do that every once in a while. So yeah, not really drinking any beer right now, which is why I'm probably not going to make any for any time soon, because then I'll drink it. But yeah, I kind of go up and down with that. Last time I said I'd had enough beer, it was like 2 years later. I said, hey, I want a beer today. I did get the ice cream though. Got ice cream yesterday. Thanks, Sean. Hope you all have a fantastic week. That's my cue to get the heck out the door, folks. Thank you guys, as always, for watching me. Thanks for the constant support on the videos, on the channel, on everything that I'm doing. If you got any questions, by all means, leave it in a comment on one of the videos or send me a message. There's an email link on there, and then there's a Facebook group that you can click on and join as well. I try to answer every single one of those that I get. That's about it for me. I'm going to get off of here and get dinner started. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. As always, I'm Sean in Alaska, and it is great hanging out with you. We'll do this again real soon. I just don't know when, but I promise we'll do it again real soon. Scroll back through, make sure I got everybody. Oh, Russell, I mean, videos on how to build a cabin. You know what I watched when I was trying to learn how to build a cabin? I watched you, Russell. I watched you build your cabin. Those were the videos I watched. That's it. I'm all caught up. See you guys. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.